Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with my video. Today I want to talk about this new mouse. This is the VT9 Pro 4K, but technically it has an update where it has 8K and it has 8K polling. So this is another high performance mouse that has 8K polling. Now the other thing that I think makes this mouse go above and beyond other mouses, well, is it's very similar to the Logitech mouse. So what I mean by that is when you look at the bottom, this mouse has the ability to actually have a small dongle store at the bottom, and the small dongle is actually capable of 8K. So just this dongle plus this is able to get you the high polling, and like the Logitech, it has that as well, right? But the Logitech is, $160 versus this itself is only $60, so it's a lot cheaper. Now, the other thing is like other more traditional mouses, you actually require to have an extra dongle and a cable, and it's a lot less compact, like my Viper V3 Pro. So I think that is definitely one thing that's worth noting that this has, right? I would say the best part about this mouse is really, it gives you kind of the high performance without the high price tag. I think that's the thing that a lot of people will like about this mouse. And it also comes with some additional accessories. So the one thing I will note about this mouse is, the more expensive mouses, or I guess nicer ones, will have a type of coating on there, but then they won't come with grip tape. While this mouse comes with actual no coating, but it comes with grip tape. So if you need extra grip, you can put more grip tapes on there as well, and it can give you some more, grip, right? Well, I personally don't have issues with my hand slipping. I can see why some people would need that. So when it comes to the shape, this is, an ambidextrous mouse. So it really depends on you if you like, ergo or ambidextrous. But the thing I noticed about this thing is that it has a high back hump. And so I would say this mouse is probably more similar to the Razer Viper V3 Pro than something like the Logitech G Pro. And the other thing about this mouse, I would say, is that it's actually different because if you look at the bottom, it actually has this wide back. You can see how there's extra feet right here that emphasize how big and wide it is. So it definitely is a little bit better at gripping if you want something that has a little bit wider and better kind of palm contact. I feel like this one does support it really well. And then you can kind of hold on to this bottom of this mouse right here to just give you, I guess, better stability when you're using the mouse. So that's something I noticed about the shape that is kind of different from the usual. Other thing about the shape of this is, right, so if you kind of take a look at the forward angle, you can see just kind of the height of the mouse. So you put the mouse next to each other, and you notice that the front is actually less wide. It's something like the Viper, and the Viper also has kind of these little divots in there. This is more kind of reminiscent of the Logitech, in my opinion, on the front. But overall, this size is pretty interesting. I mean, if you kind of look at just the side profile, it also gives you kind of a better look at how kind of the mouse compares. But, for me, the side button placement is, angled down, which is fine. I don't really have any issues with it. They're also very close together in comparison. So I feel like, you can kind of reach both of them very easily. You don't have to stretch as much as something like, I would say, the Razer. But honestly, I had no issues really hitting it. It's pretty normal. But we can also just do a sound test. For the sound test, we can kind of click left, right, scroll wheel. So when it comes to the clicks, they're very fast and snappy. Honestly, the pre and post travel is very minimal. I don't feel any. It's honestly very responsive, fast. The scroll wheel is also very fast. It's very quick, but you can also feel the divine steps. Like, honestly, this is a really, really nicely made mouse. Like, in comparison to even like the Logitech, I actually like the scroll wheel better. It's more like the Razer Viper, where it moves fast, but you can feel every single defined click. So it just gives you that extra kind of precision to it. I would say the Viper is more notchy, but yeah, I mean, this one is still decently notchy versus I think the Logitech is just kind of more smooth, in my opinion. And then the side buttons as well, like, I actually think these side buttons are excellent. I mean, you can just click on them, and they're very nice. They're pretty snappy. They're, I mean, they're better than Logitech. Like, I don't know what Logitech is doing with those. And then in comparison to the Razer, I would say they're about on par with the Razer, maybe a little bit behind the Razer. I feel like you have to push a little bit more deep into them. in this scenario, but overall they're fine and had no issues with it, right? The feet themselves are pretty kind of slippery. They all have, you know, the PTFE feet, and it glides really well on kind of my mouse pads. I've been using the Razer Strider for my mouse pad and I had no issues using that as well. So it just kind of moves very fast and glides well. How does it actually like perform in games, right? So when I'm playing, you know, Marvel Rivals, you know, that's been kind of my new game that I've been playing a lot. And I honestly find this one very reactive. Obviously, Marvel Rivals is not a game where you can use 8K polling, but in 4K polling, I found it very snappy, very responsive. When I jumped to Valorant in 8K, like you can tell the 8K is real 8K. It moves very fast. I was actually just, you know, accidentally using this mouse in 1K mode, and I can feel just how slow 1K is. Like I always notice it because basically always using 8K or 4K mouses, jumping back to 1K, you can instantly feel the difference, especially on a high refresh rate monitor as well. So I definitely noticed that. So this one is very fast, very responsive, and I think you will be kind of happy with the 8K performance on it. It's kind of like the other one I reviewed, the VT9 Pro Max. That mouse, I actually think I like that shape a little bit better. It's kind of like almost a better shape than this Ergo mouse over here on the right. But this one being an ambidextrous mouse is also very good. But if you ask me between these two, I'd probably like that one a little bit more. I guess weight's one thing that we haven't talked about yet. So this is about 69 grams. So it is definitely a heavier mouse in comparison to kind of the more traditional like high performance gaming mouses that get down to like 55. So I definitely think weight is something to be considered, but I mean, it is, you know, still lighter than the first Logitech, but it is definitely 70, 69 grams. So it's definitely a little bit of a heavier mice. But I think it is contrasted with the fact that this mouse does have a bigger battery life. So they add a bigger battery for it to kind of run longer, especially when you're using things like 8K. A bigger battery does help it last longer without you having to charge it as much. And then if I take out the, you know, two dongles, you do lose some weight with these removed as well. So it goes down to like about 4 grams less, so about 66 grams. The question really is, you know, do I recommend this mouse? And I say yes, this is a really, really good mouse. I mean, just look at the kind of shape, the fact that it has 8K. It honestly has all the specs you want in a mouse. And obviously the portability, the compact factor, but without the high price tag. I feel like that's really where it slots into the market, is its, you know, price to performance ratio. I think a lot of these other mices that aren't made by, I guess, the big brands are a lot more affordable, where a lot more people could actually afford without actually, I think, spending that much more. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. I have, you know, more mouse reviews. This, you know, low free mouse right here, I'm gonna do a review on this one. This is the newest one. The shape is pretty crazy, but it has, you know, top tier specs with 8K and everything. So it's also a nice, really unique type of mouse as well. So stay tuned for that.